In a peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and thick bamboo forests, a young man named Hiro sought wisdom. He had spent years reading scriptures, debating with scholars, and gathering knowledge from different masters. Yet, despite all his learning, he felt a deep emptiness within him. "I have knowledge," he often told himself, "but do I have wisdom?" One day, he heard of an old Zen master living in solitude near a quiet river. It was said that those who sought true wisdom would leave his presence with new understanding, though he rarely spoke. Determined to find the answers he sought, Hiro set out on the journey. After days of travel, Hiro reached the master's humble hut beside the river. The old master, dressed in simple robes, was seated under a large tree, his eyes half closed in meditation. Hiro bowed deeply and said, "Master, I have studied many teachings, yet I feel something is missing. I wish to understand true wisdom." The master opened his eyes and smiled gently. Without a word, he gestured for Hiro to follow him to the riverbank. They sat on a flat rock, as the water flowed gently past them. For a long time, neither spoke. The only sounds were the rustling leaves, the chirping birds, and the soft murmur of the water. Finally, the master asked, "What do you hear?" Hiro, expecting something profound, was slightly disappointed by the simple question. Still, he listened and replied, "I hear the water flowing, the wind moving through the trees, and birds singing." The master nodded, then said, "Close your eyes and listen again." Hiro obeyed. With his eyes shut, he noticed more. He heard the soft hum of insects, the distant voices of villagers, the crackling of dry leaves, and even the rhythmic sound of his own breath. Slowly, he opened his eyes and looked at the master in awe. "Wisdom is like this river," the master finally spoke. "When the mind is loud, we hear only the most obvious sounds. But when we quiet ourselves, we begin to notice what was always there." Hiro remained silent, absorbing the lesson. The master continued, "Knowledge is like collecting pebbles from the shore. You gather them, compare them, and store them. But wisdom is like the river itself. It flows, adapts, and moves effortlessly with life. You have spent years collecting knowledge, but have you ever allowed it to flow within you?" Hiro thought for a long time. He realized that he had always filled his mind with facts and opinions, but had never truly listened, not to nature, not to silence, and not even to himself. "How do I let wisdom flow?" Hiro finally asked. The master smiled and dipped his hand into the river, letting the water slip through his fingers. "By letting go. Let go of the need to be right. Let go of the belief that knowing more means understanding more. Just as the river does not cling to a single stone, wisdom does not cling to a single thought. Observe. Listen. Be present. Then, wisdom will flow through you as naturally as this water flows to the sea." Hiro sat in deep reflection. For the first time in his life, he felt a sense of clarity, not from what he had learned, but from what he had let go. From that day on, Hiro no longer sought wisdom in books alone. He found it in silence, in observation, and in the simple act of listening, not just to the world, but to himself.